The youngsters are not particularly fond of using salt water, and the tradition of using salt water in cooking, which I feel is a great loss for our people, because we, as a community, we have always built a rhetoric around. Build our community around the rhetoric that we are and we must be in tune with our nature.
So most of the, some of the interviews were taken in Mao language, and we are still yet to get everything translated. So, but we just wanted to showcase how, like, the languages and how, like, how we go about, like, overcoming the languages, and how we are trying to learn from them despite not understanding. So we take recordings, and then we'll get them translated, and then we'll also not just take it for ourselves, we'll share it with them as we go, as we progress with whatever we have recorded. So, like, this will all go back to them, and they can also see how they've contributed to this work. And, like, not just interviews, we also recorded the songs, which also tell stories. And in this particular case, the song is about how how a society is, how the functions of a society is, like how it's like a woman. So they can one more. So yeah, like how a woman represents the ideals of our community. So, and if you want to learn more about it, we can share it at the end again. But for now, let's have a listen. So these are, as we have already, as I described earlier, we had asked some children to take us to the salt spring sites, and these children, they usually carry it not just for themselves, but also for the elders in the village, or if there is an event where they need salt water, they will help. And this road is quite difficult because it's on a very steep, like almost like a cliff, and the rocks are also highly weathered. It's like shales and mudstones, so they are it's a difficult trek, and yet they carry all these big aluminum vessels to go and collect them. And here you can, it's just a small part of what they have to go through to collect the salt water. And along the way, you can see like sawtooth oak, some Himalayan raspberries. So they can, like, gooseberries, and they enjoy the fruits, and they also have fun while they go and collect the salt water. So
Vivi,
this is how salt water
can you give the context of the salt? Can you give the context of the salt for the audience? I think we haven't done it. Yeah. Can you pause and give the context of the salt springs?
Yeah. So the salt before, I mean, in the earlier days, like the salt springs were the source of salt for our people, so for the Nagas, and this was like the sole source of salt for us. And salt, it was generally used for cooking and for other purposes like cleansing. And this salt is, the salt water is the remnants of the ancient seas in the Eastern Himalayas, which was called the Tethys Sea. So these have been preserved in shales, like the type of rock, shale, sedimentary rock. So from here, even now, the ancient water is like seeping out of these rocks, and this is how we're getting the salt. So yeah. And like we have heard earlier from our colleague, nowadays, many people, they don't value the salt water. And it's also a difficult journey. So not many people can easily go. And with the aging population, people, they just can't afford to go. It's easier to buy salt from the shops. But there are still people who are trying to keep this alive. So, and as we go forward, we'll meet more people who are documenting it, who are preserving this, what they do in order to get this salt water.
Hi. So from the village, we have come down here and we followed Losa and Ratani and their friends. So they are students. She's in class 11 and she's studying science here. And Ratani is also in standard 9. She's a high schooler. And what they do is that they come down here from the village. It's some walk away, maybe around half an hour climb from up the mountain here. There's a stream behind us. And as part of their activity in the village, they come and fetch salt water. So we have been spending the day and the time with them, documenting how they fetch water and about the life in the village. And also as they are students, they are also becoming knowledge keepers, indigenous community here. They are from the Naga community. And so the salt water springs that you see here are very, very central to the culture of food, medicine. And so I think what we have done is that we've been spending time with them. And do you want to say something there on the camera? Yeah, nothing. Okay, so they've given the interview, and then maybe we'll show you how this is done. So, Loza, maybe you want to show the people on the camera how to fetch the water. So, Rendo, why don't you come close as you're looking at that, and then Loza will show us. So this is a stick we use, and then that's a plastic container. And then we take out the water from here like that. And those pots are filled now, the aluminum pots. But what we would normally do is that fill the jars with the water that's here. And those are bamboo baskets, and they all carry the bamboo baskets from the village here to fetch it. Some of the kids are playing there, so maybe you can pan the camera over there. Yeah, some of the friends are now done with filling up the water in the container, and then it's break time, it's play time. And that's one of the elders from the village who is here. That's David. Hi, David. Can you say hi? Yes. Yes. And so David is now sharing some food with us. And there's an entire team where we are spending time together. So if you're wondering once again what it is to do field work and what does shadowing as social scientists mean, it's spending time with the children here in the village. It's spending time with friends like David, who is also archiving indigenous culture. And so that's what we have been doing. And this is break time. So we are sharing some food that's grown in the farms. And hopefully we'll have more conversations on that. Bye for now.
So yeah, they shared with us how they collect the water. And it was such an enriching experience. And looking at kids carrying such heavy vessels, like even us as grown-ups, we can't do the same thing anymore. But they have so much strength in them, and they are so they know much more than us, even though they're much younger. And along the way, they had already, while coming down, they had already collected leaves from this sawtooth oak. So they're using it to, as a lead for the aluminum vessels. So when they're climbing back up, the movement will not, make the water spill out. So the leaves protect the water from spilling out. So yeah, and they have to make the climb, like they have to climb up. It's very steep. But on the way also, there are some designated resting places where they will go up and they will keep their pots and then they will rest for a bit, which we'll see. Yeah. So, and we also wanted to ask about them, like how their experiences are, how they have to, how they feel about all this, like carrying salt from such a long way. But they were quite shy, but Dr. Dolly, she convinced them to share. Like they were playing around, they were just resting and playing around, climbing trees and just doing what kids do. And then they got back, and then Dr. Dolly convinced them to say a few words about their experiences as, like people who carry salt water from this very far off place to the village.
So what you see is really like not planned. This is, the kids along the way, we just quietly followed. And, that's what they do. They climb up trees, they swing, they sing, they laugh on the way to the village. And it was one of the most joyful things, I had seen. And so they swing around. Yeah. Yeah. And so Nigi, can you pause here?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to explain this to you. So, they are shy, they're children. And so I'm like, okay, like, would you like to say something about your experience? They're like, nah. So I said, how about you ask one another, And they said, yeah, that's something we can do, And so they started interviewing each other, and it was so the kid in the black shirt is asking like, how was your experience? How was it? And the child in the green shirt is saying, it was great. I had a lot of fun. This is a fun thing that we are doing. And so we were just very quiet, and it was just a camera person and all their friends like giggling but once they started doing this, everyone was quiet, including their peers, because they were in awe. And they're such good speakers, right? They forgot the camera. And so yeah, I want you all to just savor these moments. Thanks.
あ、ねえさん、そう、じゃあじゃあじゃあ。いやつで、じゃあ出たところも。もうえんに。え、すべてパラチャラする。Hi, so once again we are here, and part of the project that we are doing here on lithic growth, as you can see, is one, indigenous knowledge documentation, storytelling. We saw what happened around the salt springs with the children who are actually the next knowledge keepers of this village. And right now we are going to set up this poster right here, and this is for the big exhibition we are having tomorrow for the village. The community is involved, and we have our friends here from the neighboring college, Ashiva Christian College, and this is the theme, as you can see. So, and this is the building that the village has given us. The way we work here, sometimes it's with very, very thin infrastructure, as you can see, but I think there's a lot of enthusiasm and also a lot of, I think, collaboration that happens on the ground. The reason that we are not able to live telecast this event is also because of the internet disruptions we have there, as you can see. And yet what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take you up and show you some of the structures where we are working. Brenda, please follow me. This is the building that the villagers have built in Makel, and I'm going to take you up to the exhibition hall. So follow me. It's going to be a little bit dark, but don't worry. I think you get a real sense of what it means to work on the ground. And once again, I'm giving you an anthropological behind the scene. And if you were here with me, this is what you will be doing for days, for weeks, for months, for years. A lot of my colleagues who are in the social sciences pretty much work around that and will come. You will see what will happen tomorrow. I'm going to show you all some footage from tomorrow, but this is it. The volunteers, we have village elders who are here. Auntie, come, it's okay. It's like they're running away. We're going to set up. These are all gifts. Here you can see that the village, the community has offered us for the exhibition. You have to understand one thing about indigenous cultures, that it's rarely put in museums in a village like this. These are all part of everyday life. This is used in the kitchens, in the living rooms. These are grains that you can see from the paddy fields around the mountains. So we are going to be using all this for the exhibition. You will not find this in the museum here in the Eastern Himalayan villages of the Naga homeland. You will instead find them in the kitchen. And it's really important that you understand the context of how the community is coming together. As you can see, it's a very rich culture that we are talking about. These are all woven, very, very solid bamboos here. They are used. These are earthen pots. I'm going to pick up all and show it to you so that then we are having an interaction with Nivikotso, my collaborator, my geologist friend right here, who's going to be very busy setting up. So we're going to be taking you behind the scene. Nivi, can you explain what's happening here? Yeah.
So we requested them and for some of the.
I'm going to share my microphone. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we talked with them and then they offered. We just mentioned some things, but they brought us more than we ever expected. So this is the love they have for us and how we came together and they shared all the produce that they farm just near their houses, in their backyards. And so you can see pumpkins, cucumbers, the squirrels forage from the forest, and these are the type of parsley, but it's only available here, the region, and these are like pennyworts.
Pennyworts.
And
these are wild basil.
Yes.
I mean, we are.
And there's the
it's not even an exhibition. I think we will go hungry tomorrow. So we are so excited to share this with you. And I think I'm going to let Nivi go because he's going to escape and then he's going to set up the exhibition. So very, very excited to show you the next footage, which is going to be tomorrow. But at the moment, I'm going to take a cut and then go down and invite the children who fetch the salt water. Okay, so that's for the next scene. Thank you.
So Nivi, can we pause here? Let me just explain what we are doing. Yeah. Yeah, so one of the idea was that the water that they fetched, I think there's a question about some this is a losing culture and a losing tradition. So what we did was that remember we went down to the salt springs, we got it, and it's a continuation footage of that. So we wanted to make sure that the children who got the water, we honored them for the labor, for the service, and for their collaboration. So they took the water. What they are doing is that they're taking the water directly to the exhibition hall, and so that everyone, their peers who go to school, who are their classmates, can actually come inside tomorrow and appreciate. So you later see how they're all like dressed up and standing next to the pot of water that they have fetched. And I think by doing that, one of the things that our collaborators, the village elders, Nivi and myself wanted to do was how do we give value to everyday practices, and especially indigenous practices that are absolutely disregarded. And so I think this is a moment where they're carrying it up and they'll be placing it. Yeah, thank you.
the children also as the people of the system. So that tomorrow after this stage,
And another thing, while setting up the exhibition, like people, they were so willing to help, to participate in, like even the setting up. So they all came, and without being asked, they were helping, they were arranging things. So it was not just us telling them we want this here, we want this here. It was they were involved in it. They were deciding where to place what, and they helped us in setting all these things. And except for me arranging this in a like yeah.
The Nagas.
I'll just give a brief description. So the only part where we had to actually say what goes where is like the artwork that I had prepared to show them in a series, like 1, 2, 3. You go from here to there. The rest, the all were done by the community, like the children, the women, the men, the elders. Everyone came together and they helped us in setting it up, and it came out beautifully.
Metis and the plains have departed from here. Makhel is the origin of the Nagas. This is the place where the Nagas have departed from. And the Nagas have to consider it.
So here again, the women, the Women's Society of Makhel, they presented a song for us, and here they're practicing. So I'll let Dr. Dolly describe a bit about it.
So I can explain more, as once we are in the discussion. But this is actually a song about the ideals of a community and the indigenous worlds that we inhabit. The song traces the origins of Makhel as a village, and it also speaks about ethics, right? About the women's songs really is centrally focused on the foundations of what constitutes a strong and an ethical society. And it questions wealth, and it questions material, kind of, all the creations that are around, about community and where it stands. I think what's very important is that it centers women. So it is glorifying actually the role of a woman in indigenous communities. And there's a line where it says that a community can fall and wither away, but when a woman inculcates and clothes herself in unshakable wisdom and integrity, it will ensure the continuity of a community. And I think it's very, very important to understand both the ethical and the wisdom relation that's in society, in a sense, really, centers women and the wisdom that women carry in the village. So I hope that you will enjoy the song. This is a beautiful song, so please listen to it. Thank you.
Oh, Nevi, I didn't hear the sound of them singing. Dolly, are you able to hear that? Okay. Can we go back just for a bit so that we can fully appreciate that?
Oh no.
I'm still not hearing that. Dolly?
Yeah, I'm not getting any sound either. This is Raja.
Okay, no sound. How is it? I don't know. Is it coming now? No, I mean, what's happening?
Yes, I can kind of hear it a little bit. Could you boost your volume?
What's happening then?
Oh, goodness, yeah.
Is it still not? Is the
It's-
audio still not working?
We're
No.
still not getting that audio, Nevi.
I'm not sure what's happening then.
Okay.
We can, yeah, we'll play it. We'll send you all the proper videos so you can
Okay.
upload it. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah.
That would
make-
be fantastic.
Yes, for the recording. Yeah. So
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
yeah.
I'm not sure what went wrong
Yeah.
there.
So you can look at the the sarongs that you're looking at, the mekelas, they're all woven in the village. You can look at the jewelry that they are from the Mao Naga community. And so they were there from the women's cultural, I think, yeah, groups to welcome us. And they were also responsible for the feast that we ate. Really amazing food later that day. You can look at the designs. You can look at the colors. And for all Naga cultural groups, this kind of singing this kind of singing and this kind of, I think that the outfits that we wear signify deep meaning, connections with land, connection with community, and togetherness. And so we dress up so that we can honor one another. We dress up because we believe that beauty and also looking beautiful is part actually of culture, right? And so we work hard when we go to the fields, when we are working, but when we have to look beautiful, we do look beautiful. So Nivi is wearing a Naga stole. I'm wearing this because I want to honor you all today. So this is from my community, the Lota Naga tribe, and you can look at our elders and our sisters here in the video as well. I'm sorry that the video is not working. It will work, and once kind of like we make the transition, yeah. So Nivi, can we then forward it a little bit and we can go to then we can go to the exhibition and see what it's like.
As you can see, we have some clouds over there, still in the mountains.
Yeah.
Some of the visitors are coming from the village now.
Audio is working now.
And
Yes.
the amazing thing is that we managed to set up the poster here. So it's very exciting. This is for the students. You can see some of the students are here. They've come from the neighboring village schools. And we are going to be spending an entire day today learning about culture, about indigenous ecology. And I'm just going to slowly ask you to come with me here. And you can see the village elders that have come. They're very excited. They're here to bless the event. So we have a bus that we are waiting for. We are running a little late because there's been a landslide in the previous mountain, in the next mountain. So the students are stuck there, but don't worry, they'll get here. So we all got here early. You can see our uncles and our elders here. They're waiting to bless the event. And the students are getting busy here, setting up the the chair for the inaugural session. Say hi, everyone. So they're busy. They have the notebooks. They're going to be writing a lot of stories and notes. So keep following me. I'll take you. Sorry, I'll take you along to the exhibition. We spent the whole day trying to set this place up, and it's looking good. So you will see what I mean. The cores are still here. I'm very excited about this. These are from the village here, from the mountains, and the village people thought that it'll be very nice as props, as decorations. So after that, we get to eat them. That's also one of the decorations we have. These are onions here from the mountain, and this is the welcome symbol. We have some grains here. We have a musical instrument here, and the elders will come and say the prayers and inaugurate. But you get the first look at this. So imagine the hall was empty yesterday, and this is what we did today. We set this up, and this is really a teamwork. The village came and helped us a lot. And guess who is here? That's Nivi.
I am Nivi. Through our Living Worlds project, we are trying to collect and bridge the gap between indigenous knowledge and scientific knowledge. So for this project, we've created a small exhibition, and here we're trying to create a representation of the geological history of this place, and then try to mix it and create an understanding about the geology of this area, as well as how our ancestors, how the Naga people understood the place, the land itself. So with this, along with the community here in this village, they have helped us so much, and along with them, we're creating this together. It's now not just about us here; it's about the whole village, us, and it's going to extend everywhere. And this is a traveling exhibition, and it all started from this place because this is a very important area for our community. So through this, it's like the beginning, and then we went to Sweden, and then we presented this in 2 different places, and now we're coming back here. So you can just see a few pictures here, the sketches that are made along with photographs, and they all show it goes to the series, like the geological history, the current situation, and also we took some things from Sweden also to show the stark difference in the geology and how the landscape has changed, how the climate, everything is different, and it also gives a scale of how young and how old the land is. So through this, we have created this, and then we're still. So we hope that like it's kind of people will come and they will also gain perspective on time, on land, and then all this food and the salt that the locals here have prepared. They've helped us. By bringing all this together, we will have a new understanding of what the people in the past, how they understood the land around them, and how the current knowledge that we have, scientific geological knowledge that we have, how they're not so different, how everything that people have done, they all have a reason, and why we should not let go of all this in the new, like as new scientific knowledge comes in, we cannot abandon the past. So yeah, through this, we believe and we hope that people will be motivated, and they will also try to like preserve or continue with the conversations that we have here today.
Thank you, Nivi. I think I'm an anthropologist, and we are part of the, I think, CREST initiative looking at shadow the scientists. And Nivi is a geologist. We are both Naga researchers. And it's one of the first collaborations that we are doing, bringing the sciences and the social sciences together. And as you can see, for the communities who live here, indigenous peoples like the Nagas, we actually don't see the knowledge as divided between quote unquote the sciences and the social sciences. This is really life world. So if you can just pan the camera here, like Nivi was saying, we stopped the journey here, Liffey cultures, and we took the exhibition till here to Sweden. When we went to Sweden, we did a demonstration of the salt that comes from the mountains. Look at these beautiful rocks that we got from Sweden. And we wanted to showcase it to the village here, to the students here from across the schools in the neighboring villages, what it looks like. These are some pictures we took about glacial landform in Sweden. And then this is, I think, the last picture we have is about moss. We will be doing more interactions. But I think we will wait to let the crowd come in and then we'll share more. So come on, Nivi here. So we'll be showing all these videos. So sorry, we can't do this live for you all. But as you can see, it rained. The other bus is still stuck in a landslide. And I think these are some of the real conditions on the ground, things we take it for granted, right? Internet access, you know, the idea of live streaming research. It's not available for everyone around the world. Very few people are able to do that. And I hope that even though this is not live streaming, we will be putting this up, and there's a sense of what research looks like in some of the difficult terrains around the world, with some communities, especially the indigenous communities, who live in very, very difficult situations with climate change, with the rains in the middle of the monsoon. But there's so much enthusiasm alive. And so I hope that once you watch this video and we upload it, we'll be having more conversation. So for now, we'll say bye, but we'll come in the next, I think, footage with more.
So here, as you have seen, one of the village elders, he came and blessed the event. And here, because not everyone understands English and I can speak Mao. So although we have put up some short descriptions which the students can read, but for everyone who cannot read or who can understand, we just wanted to share what, you know, like in terms of geology, how the landscape is described. So just sharing a small, you know, like description, describing what the artwork means or what the photographs represent. So, and here are one of the village elders again, he translated it to the others. And later on, the students, they can explore themselves. But for the elders, we did a small translation session of the exhibition.
Our place, like I left a little bit Nagaland, Manipur here. So this place was all under the ocean. So it was all under the ocean, and the land was moving. It was not static. So this part is the Burma, not the Tibetan. During that time, they were all soil and they were falling down, and then they were taking land. Land from China, Vietnam.
So, and another thing I would like to say is, although in the sciences, we have so many terms and we can describe things in a very systematic way, but when you're talking to the people, like to the general people, you can't use those words, you can't use, you know, like terminology, because they don't even want to, I mean, they don't understand, and nobody's going to go around searching for terms for every single sentence. So it's quite challenging to even try to put things in a simple way. So I guess that's how even the artwork, it helps, because it gives a representation of how you can, you know, like what you're describing is, and how things would have looked. So these are not like accurate representations, but they're more to help, you know, like people understand, and how they can also give their input, how they can be part of the conversation, rather than just us going and telling them things, you know. So that's how even the language, the artwork, everything, it's not simplified, but it's more to ensure that everyone is engaged, everyone is a part of it.
자, 지출에 지출에 just 소소소 지금 자 소에 들이 저거 부부부다 되는데 그것으로 주에 자리에 와서 제가 가는 전들이 수프라마라 jet 저게 제가 뭐 대주에 이거 지금 내가 쇼나 거라 프로 이제 스로 스마스로 이제 뭐 지지 해
And like here, we can see all these students, and some of them, they are from the same village, and many of them are from the neighboring villages or even out of the district. But like as like when people get busy, like there are so many things to do. They have to study, they have to, like, and so most of the time, even though there's so many things around them, people stop noticing, and they came here, and even if they're from neighboring or the same villages, they see all these things, but they were also like rediscovering about what these things mean, like or these plants, or say they brought all these baskets and plants that they used to make fabric with. So they were also like quite happy to learn. They probably know, or some of them already know, but some of them were quite happy to see these plants in a different way. So yeah, it was quite enriching for everyone.
For me, just to see the children adore and feel so proud of something that's from the kitchen was amazing.
Yeah, sorry.
Thing about the origin of the Makel, that about the Nagas that it came from this village and were spread around. Yeah, and also like I see some things, traditional things, and some things which I haven't seen for, like the pictures here from Sweden. Yeah, and the new thing that I discovered, that salt water is not only for like what I knew before was used for cooking, but now it is like it's also used for medical things. Yeah.
One of the many amazing things about culture in this village is what? The salt water, right? The salt spring. And they were our guides yesterday. Here, I'm sure for those who are in college, they're younger than you all, definitely. And for those of you who are in high school, you're in class 11. And so what they do is that they're all from here and they carried the water. They took us down to the salt springs. It's quite a steep. I hope some of you will be doing some walking today. And then they climbed up with the water and then they brought it all the way here. So this is their basket. And we wanted to make sure that they are here, present. Today they came all well dressed, but yesterday they were ready to carry water. And so I really want you all to take this moment that they're young, younger than you. How old are you? Tell us your name. See your friend, and then how old are you? She is 12 years old. And class? That's fine. Oh, come on. There's a girl. And how old are you? And in class? Class 7. My name is Naga. I'm from today. I'm studying class 11 science. And how old are you? I'm 16 years old. She's 16 years old. And then all of them are amazing guys, and they bring towards the history of the village, the path they travel in the jungle, and how they pick up the leaves. They're all really good students. But imagine they are your age, younger than you all. Right? And they are continuing, they're inheriting their practice. That's your name. Yeah? Yes, and how old are you? She's 14 years old. It's not for them. They fetch for the family so that they can cook. And sometimes we have learned, Nivi and I, that Here, students in the village, they volunteer to fetch water. Why? Because some of the senior citizens are not able to fetch. So when they fetch the water, they gave it to their mom and dad, to the families. They also share with their neighbors sometimes. So I think this is an amazing practice of sharing that's going on. And now, I want you to do something. They will stand here, but for at least 2 minutes, you should come and try to hit the baskets. That's a challenge. And trust me, when they climb, I go to the gym, I'm a little strong, but they were literally running off, like you. And so I think these are really amazing indigenous traditions and practices that we have. And I hope that if you're from here around, from today onwards, during weekends and all, you can at least go around and you can at least learn, right? Something other day.
Okay, for 2 minutes.
Yes. Climbing up the hill and volunteer. Volunteer.
Any more?
Come on. Any more volunteers? One more. David, we have one more volunteer. Okay. Yeah. So 1 minute. Tell us. Go volunteer first.
So we have also gone to some sites like where there are important monoliths around the village. And again, our colleagues from Asafo Christian Institute, they helped us gather people who knew about these stones. And they also, especially the elders, they willingly helped us. They shared the knowledge. They went to all the sites in the forest and they helped us. So yeah, I would like to give some time to Dr. Dolly to give us a brief description.
No, Nivi, you're doing it so well. Don't give me.
No.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
think one thing to understand about Makel and many of the Naga villages and also indigenous culture in the Himalayas is that the landscape, the topography, and also the stones around us are so central to our culture. For us, from the moment that you are born, or the feast of success, of merit, and also the moment that you die, a way of showing respect actually is to erect monoliths. And so when you go to Makel, it's filled with stones that are kind of considered as witnesses to the Naga past. In terms of our migratory routes, there will be stones. In terms of, I think, even growing up, right? Coming of age, there are coming of age stones. There are amazing stones where actually children are measured. So when they come up to the size of a particular stone, then they can be shepherds. Then they are of age to take care of cattle. Then there are stones, spirit stones. So when you're going into the jungle, you stop halfway from the village and you honor the stones because the stones are living and they're also the abodes of spirits. And so the way they revere the stones actually, has a meaning, has a deep culture because they're rooted in the land and respect for land. So all the indigenous cultures where they told us, for centuries, they rubbished us, they said that these are all nonsense. Actually, when you go deep into indigenous epistemology, the landscape that you see is a living landscape. And so this is something that we wanted to honor them. So what you're seeing in terms of the footage here is actually a storytelling that's going around the village. Thank you, Nidhi.
This place is called Mahakido. Mahakido is located at the Mahakido area. There are two stones like this. One is at Bukru, which is just above us, and then this one. These two stones symbolize the departure of our forefathers from Makhel while they were departing from this very place for new settlement. They have gone to other places. And during their departure, during their going process, with the spear, with the head of the spear, they have perched on this stone. All the male who have departed from the village, exclusive of the females and the childs, all the aged men, they have pierced with the head of the spears on this stone. Similarly, the other stone, which is just above us, also is of the same, signifying that they have also departed from this place. So there are some clans from the neighboring communities, and then even from the Tangkul side, who have come claiming that their forefathers have departed from this very place, saying that their forefathers have told them, saying that during our departure, we have, with the head of the spear, we have pierced the stone. So these marks of the spear piercing the stone existed, but due to the most and then extreme exposure to the environment, some of the marks pierced by the spear could not be visible, but there's a story saying that the forefathers were going out from here. With the head of the spears, they pierced on the stone.
Here he was describing about the Feast of Merit monoliths. So there are a lot of monoliths around this area, but according to them, because people don't practice don't practice erecting monoliths anymore. So most of them have fallen into disrepair, and some monoliths have even cracked and fallen down. But in the past, they used to, the members of the family who used to come and clean the area or maintain the monoliths. So, but now, because of modernization and like all these practices falling out of favor, they no longer do that, and most of the monoliths have been forgotten, and people, they don't know whose family the stones belong to anymore. And here it's another, like one of those monoliths which carry a story, like a story of birds and lizards and their great war kind of. So I mean, this is one of them. So in a way, these stones, because earlier we didn't have the practice of writing, like documenting and writing. So the stones were actually the records of the stories, like this thing happened here. And when you're walking along this road, you'll come across a monolith, and that monolith tells a story. And that's how the stones have been preserving the stories. And the people of this village, they've also come up with booklets, and they even put up descriptions around these monoliths. So this is like a new thing, but if we consider it like in the past, even without writing, they could still pass on the stories through the stones. And here, we were walking around looking at the monoliths, and near a road cutting, we saw a geological fault line. So this place is in this area of Makel. It also falls under the Mao Churachandpur fault complex. So there are lots of faults in this area, and we saw an example of it. So I was just describing it to them and sharing what actually these faults imply. And also, one important thing to note is that in the village they also have their own standards of where to build houses, where not to build houses. But these are all, like there'll be a stone which signifies that this is not safe for building. And we don't exactly know the reasons for it in scientifically, but it could also be because there's a fault underneath, or it's an area where the rocks are not as stable. So it's not about us telling, like from a scientific perspective, this is bad or this is good, but to understand how people came to the conclusion that this area is not safe and they would never build houses. And you can see there are so many structures which had never fallen, although their landslides are rampant all around the village. But within the village, there are so many structures that have stood for a long time. So, like it's not that indigenous knowledge is outdated. It's that there is some truth to it, and it is up to us to see what actually, like how it's not a gap. It's not actually, they're not divergent. They don't differ from each other. It's just how we understood it. Only our understanding of it is different. For some reason, the audio is very low. So I think the audio is very low, but yeah, I was just describing how the strata and how to identify the fault, and how it affects like landslides or buildings, and like especially earthquakes.
So for us as indigenous people who live in such fragile terrain, we have to redefine our idea of value and our idea of wealth. For us, wealth should be in the wisdom of the landscape. So when, let's say, an indigenous tribal scientist tells this to us, if you have 1 crore tomorrow and you have no knowledge, right, and you think the idea of showing off wealth is to build a 1 crore house on top of it, that's foolishness, right? Because we can't adapt to other cultures, the way they express wealth and the way they define success. If we're living in a terrain like this, for us, then the idea of success should be knowing the stories, knowing how to live on the land, right? And redefining our idea of value. Maybe it's in the songs, maybe it's in the forest and the number of vegetables that grow. So as an anthropologist, then, understanding sciences and knowing culture actually allows us to live a more rich and meaningful life, where we are respecting the land. So later on, you have this knowledge. And so a foolish person will come and say, I'll build 1 crore house here and show. It's so unwise, because that house is going to collapse. Right? It's not possible. Not because of anything, but the land we live on is not going to allow for that kind. So whether it's here or any places, I want you all to know the value of education. And that's the reason why we are doing this study tour. This study tour is not to get education and to be proud that we are educated, but actually to understand the land from geological perspective, from cultural perspective, to understand the stories.
and to situate them, right, in knowledge.
I've learned many things about the stones and why our forefathers erected those stones. We visited 5 places, that is Kapepuhitu, or Ukioratu, and then the Stone of Wisdom, and Hudzumututu. And then I've heard about the Ukioratu and some of the wisdom stone and all, but I've never heard about the Kapepuhitu. And then one interesting thing is that when our forefathers departed from Makil, they have pierced the stone with the head of the arrow, and then and some interesting facts is that the Rungsung from the Tangko community came claiming that the forefathers have departed from Makil, and for which they have pierced the stone with the head of the arrow. And then I've learned many things. I've learned that the importance of our culture, and to preserve our culture.
Today we explore various places in Makil, various stones. As in stone group, we look at various stones which is in Makil. One of the interesting stone in Makil is the stone which is near the Mount Student Union. The stone, there are many holes in the stone which our forefathers has pierced with their spear. It symbolizes that they have separated from that place. And there are also many other different stones which has their own story. It was an amazing day, a memorable day.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all for the video, but we can have further discussions and like the question session. So
that was absolutely incredible. Nevi, Dolly, you certainly made it feel like we were there with you as we went through the wonderful video documenting your engagement with the community. So in the chat, I have put a red question mark by all of the questions so that you can easily pick out the questions from all of the amazing comments. And so I will, I know we're a little bit over for those of you who are joining us. Thank you for sticking with us. If you do have to go, the session will be posted on the Shadow of the Scientist YouTube channel within the next 3 to 5 days. Okay, I'll hand it back over to Dolly and Nevi for questions and answers.
Oh my God, a shout out to Ashipur Christian Institute. Hi, everyone. Can you see them? They're just like, oh my God. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Thank you for making it. It's a packed house, and what a joy to see you all. I think this is your work and all the students talking. Maram the Bosco, Makel, the children, everyone. This is for you all. So, oh my God, it's really early for you all to wake up, but thank you. You did amazing. So happy.
And Dolly and Navy, I don't know, I'm humbled by this session. Jamaica can probably tell you we've had hundreds of sessions, Shadow the Scientist session, but you guys win the gold medal for just the amount of effort and thought and care that has gone into the preparation, not just of your presentation today, but the video. I personally hosted many Shadow the Scientist sessions. I'm completely humbled by this. I can't tell you how well it's as though you've been part of Crest all along, you've been part of Shadow all along. It just feels so natural. And everything you've talked about, I just want to point out one particular thing that is, this initiative. It's called Shadow the Scientist, but there's actually a second name to it. It's called Lenses and Mirrors, because my field is astronomy, and it started in the field of astronomy, the Shadow program. And, lenses and mirrors are, of course, used as, used in telescopes, of course, and instruments and cameras. But lenses and mirrors is being used figuratively here, not just literally. We want outsiders, young people in particular, to see the world through the lens of a scientist, a social scientist, physical scientist, biological scientist. but it's also a mirror because, as you said, as you so eloquently said, when we describe this work, it changes us. It changes the scientists, it changes how we see ourselves, how we see the science. It's very much a mirror. And what it shows back to us is other people's view of our work. And that's so, you said that much better than I ever could. But like I say, it feels like you've always been, that you were part of Crest from the beginning. Crest was designed for you, really. Anyway, I will keep quiet because my words don't hold a candle to what you've just said. So I will keep quiet. And just thank you. Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you, Jamika, for making this all possible. It's just incredible.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Raja.
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Raja. Like, I'm really humbled by your praises and also for giving us this opportunity. I'm really thankful to you. Thank you so much again.
Oh, there's so many questions. So I have to I think Aditya Rahul Pillai. Oh my gosh, you have engaged with us so deeply, and the questions you have is just overwhelming. I think we're going to fail in answering all your questions, but please connect with us. And maybe Jamaica, I will ask you to take the questions, but Aditya, you are here and I feel you, right? I feel your enthusiasm, I feel your commitment and your excitement, and thank you so much. And all of you, I think the questions are just like coming in, and I don't know about Nivi, but I'm quite overwhelmed, with the connection that you're having to this. So thank you.
What I am happy to do is send all of the questions to you and share your answers with everyone who is registered and participated in the session, along with a link to the recording. Would that work for you, Dolly and Navy?
So we can answer their questions later. We can write to them.
Yes, you can. Well, you can in fact just write to me. I will pull the questions from the transcript,
Yes.
send them to you both, email them
Yes.
to you both, and then if
Yes.
you'll just respond,
Yeah.
and you can respond via email, or if you want to do a quick video response, that's great. However you choose to respond, Dolly and Nevi, I will share that with every person who is in this session.
Absolutely, absolutely. Oh my gosh, oh my God, I'm just looking at the chat and it's just everyone's given us so much love, I think, yeah. And my heart's there with the Ashifa Christian Institutes, the faculty, the students, yeah, they are truly our eyes, our ears, and our teachers. I just have to tell you all how well they fed us. I've never eaten such food. I'm going back to the mountains. I'm going back to them to eat again. I don't know about you all. I'm going back. But yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, again, like, thank you so much, everyone, for all the love that you have given. Yeah, and especially again, Asifa Christian Institute. You have been so amazing. Like, I can't even describe. Yeah, like, and Miss Kaini, who is busy out there, but yeah, thank you so much for helping us, even in the making of this video. You've been so kind, and you've given your time to us. So yeah, I'm really thankful to you for that. And
Jamaica,
yeah,
can we hear something from Ashifu? Yeah, Nivi, sorry. Yeah.
no, that was it. Yeah, let's.
Yes,
Tiny, say
I-
something. Say something from the institute side. Jamaica, can
just-
you unmute? Yeah.
I did. I just asked them to unmute. And they are unmuted. Asufi Christian Institute, welcome and thank you so much for joining us. You have the floor. We'd love to hear from you. I think perhaps they're working on their audio.
I think if it's not possible, it's fine. We'll be making the documentary, we'll be writing together, and we'll be back definitely. I think, yeah.
Oh, I see they've put in the chat that they were having some audio issues. No worries. It is a joy to see all of you here. And we are so grateful for the amazing contribution that you've made to the video and to the experience that we are getting to share here in this session. Thank you so much. And I will leave those last words with Dolly and Nevi. And before that, so thank you everyone in this session for the amazing engagement. Your questions, your comments really show us how much you value this kind of session. So we'll look forward to having more sessions and gaining insight, cultural and scientific knowledge from Nevi and Dolly. Nevi, Dolly, close us out, please.
Yeah, so everyone, thank you so much. Thank you, Jamika. Thank you, Dr. Dolly. Thank you, Dr. Raja. Thank you, Asif. Like, I can't name all, but thank you so much. I really enjoyed this session, and I don't know how I did, but I'm so happy and really thankful to all of you. Thanks.
Thank you from my heart, Jamika. You're a rock. You carried us through with so much patience and love. Thank you, Raja, for this vision, for having us. And thank you, Ashifu. Thank you, all well-wishers who are here. And at the end, if Nivi and I skipped some parts, apology for some of the audios that weren't working. We'll do better next time. But thank you so much for having us.
And with that, we will wrap up this inaugural session with Dolly and Nevi, our very first session highlighting the connections between culture, anthropology, and geology. Dr. Kikan, Nevi, thank you so much. And I look forward to having you in future sessions. And to everyone joining us in the chat, we wish you a fantastic rest of your morning, afternoon, and evening. Aloha.